He was a sorcerer, a prophet, a priest, a unifier, a demigod, and a statesman. He spoke to and invoked divine spirits. He called down a golden stool from the heavens. He made the cripple walk. He planted trees and made them grow on the same day. He summoned rain. He walked on a tree. He planted a sword in the earth that no man has ever been able to pull it out for over 300 years till date. His name was Okomfo Anokye, the visionary who forged the soul of the Ashanti Empire and was the true mastermind behind it, the most spiritually powerful priest and sorcerer in the history of Ghana and Africa from the 16th century. One of the most prominent hospitals in Ghana was named after him, the Okomfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. This is not myth, this is legend, true, authentic African history. But who was he really? Where did he come from? And how did one man unite warring clans and states into one of Africa's greatest kingdoms? Today, we uncover the mystical legend and the human story of Okomfo Anokye, the man whose power shaped a nation. Watch till the end because his end will have you amazed. Long before the rise of the Ashanti Empire in the late 1600s, a child was born under mysterious signs. In the town of Awukugua, in the Akwapim Mountains of the eastern region part of present-day Ghana, a woman named Ya Anubea gave birth to a son who, according to legend, came into this world with his one fist clenched so hard holding a short white tail of a cow known as Bodua in the Akan language. This was his spiritual gift he brought from the gods, known as Suman in Akan. It was his omen of destiny. There are different accounts of where he was born and is from, due to how powerful and great he was. Different people in Ghana try to claim him. According to different oral history, the Agonas claim he is from Agona, the Ewe claim he is from Ewe land, but according to historical fact, prominent historians and majority of oral tradition, he was from Awukugua in Akwapim land, sent to Denkyira, and later found himself in Ashanti land at Agona due to his strong friendship he built with Osei Tutu and helping Ashantis to be great. His real name given to him at birth was Kwame Ajay Frimpong, but got the name Okomfo Anokye because he would perform wonders all the time as a child and people would shout and tell his dad, Ano, look. His dad's name was Ano. Look in the local dialect of the Awukugwa people is Chi, so it translated to Ano Chi or Ano look. And the term given to a spiritual leader or priest in Akan is Okomfo, meaning the one who invokes the gods or a man chosen by the gods. Thus the name Okomfo Anokye. He was different even at a young age. He spoke rarely but wisely. He started performing wonders as a child, performing most of his wonders at his hometown of Awukugua. He would disappear in his room for days and later return to his room without stepping outside. He commanded the bowls of his friends to be filled with the foods their heart desired whenever they were hungry, and the bowls were filled with food. He used the heel of his feet to create deep holes in a rock so he and his friends could play a local Akan game called Owari. He would predict events before they happened. He stuck a knife into a tree and none of the people could remove it. He walked on a tall palm tree with his bare foot, and his footprints were left on the tree. He sowed plantain and it grew, ripened, and he harvested it the same day. When drought struck, he lifted his hands to the sky and commanded rain to fall. He would command birds, heal the sick, and even walk barefoot through fire. He did all this at such an early age. The elders whispered, "This child is no ordinary mortal." Due to the wonders he was performing at such a young age, he was sent to a prominent priest and sorcerer at Denkyira for his spiritual gift to be nurtured and to master it to be more powerful. Denkyira was the most powerful Akan state in the forest region at the time before the Ashantis came into existence, and their priest was the most powerful at the time before Anokye. After he had been nurtured and became even more powerful, he later became the priest of Denkyira and served there under the Denkyira king for a period of time. In Denkyira's royal court, Anokye's power amazed everyone. He healed wounds no one else could heal. He called for rain, and it came. He spoke, and the crowd fell silent. listening as if the earth itself was holding its breath. But his purpose in Denkyira wasn't just to show power. It was there that Anokye met a young warrior, Osei Tutu, and they became friends. Osei Tutu was brave, smart, and proud. He was loyal to his people, but tired of Denkyira's heavy hand over their lands. Anokye saw something in him, a fire, a vision, a leader waiting to rise. The two became close, brothers in purpose, and from that meeting, destiny began to move, because one day together they would build something far greater than Denkyira itself. They both later traveled to Kwaman together. They began a quiet revolution. Not through war, but through spirit, unity, and faith, they built the Ashanti Empire. Okomfo Anokye was the true mastermind behind the whole Ashanti Empire. Besides his spiritual ability, which helped make the Ashanti Empire, was his wisdom. According to C.E. Wellman's book written in 1935 called A History of the Gold Coast, Okomfo Anokye was one of the wisest and greatest Africans who lived. In the late 1600s, he brought the idea and managed to convince Osei Tutu I to bring Akan states around Kwaman, Dwaben, Bekwai, Kokofu, Nsuta, and others who were fragmented together and elected one leader, knowing that none of the independent states on their own could defeat the mighty Denkyira. He made all the leaders of these states gather on one Friday and asked them to dig a hole and bury their independent stools of their states. Then he conjured the Golden Stool from the heavens, a sacred stool from the gods which stood for the pride of the Ashantis. He made them understand the Golden Stool would be the only superior stool of the Ashanti nation, and each and every one of the leaders who had come together served and owed allegiance to the Golden Stool. He made them understand no one is above the Golden Stool, not even Osei Tutu, the first who was elected as the leader of the Ashantis. This was a brilliant strategy that Okomfo Anokye introduced to prevent any resentment among the leaders who had united to form Ashanti and agreed upon a single ruler. It also instilled a deep sense of pride in the Ashanti, as the Golden Stool was given to them directly by the gods, and they would fight and die for it, since it was not merely an ordinary wooden stool. Aside from conjuring the Golden Stool, he also performed a sacred ritual for the Ashanti warriors before they went to war with Denkyira, which enabled them to overcome the Denkyira. He even prophesied the specific location where the Ashanti would win the battle, which was Feyiase, and it came to pass. Even during the Battle of Feyiase, he performed many wonders, such as using his spear to pierce a tree, causing water to flow continuously for the Ashanti warriors to drink when they were thirsty. He deflected bullets shot by the Denkyira warriors with his whisk or bodwa in his hand. He chanted for a whole week straight, invoking spirits to accompany and fortify the Ashanti warriors when the battle intensified. Legend has it that he made some of the Denkyira army defect through his incantations, which helped the Ashanti army win the battle. He also brought 300 highly skilled Akwamu warriors. The Akwamus were the most skilled fighters among the Akans at the time. He brought these warriors to train the newly formed Ashantis in warfare and also assist them in battle against Denkyira by fighting alongside them. Additionally, after the Ashanti defeated Denkyira, he advised them to form a professional army that would remain prepared at all times and go to war whenever there was a battle, rather than simply gathering individuals who weren't really warriors to fight. This gave the Ashantis a proper and well-trained army who could fight effectively. Another brilliant idea he gave the Ashanti Kingdom was to advise them not to view or treat the surrounding Akan states they conquered as slaves, but rather to see them as their brothers and part of their own people. He also counseled them not to see the Northerners and Akwamus, who came to fight with them, as foreigners, but as their own. This made the conquered and foreign tribes who came to help the Ashantis feel like they were part of the Ashanti nation and develop a sense of loyalty, while also feeling like they belonged there. This helped the Ashantis incorporate most of the Akan states into Ashanti and also expand and become bigger and stronger. He also gave the newly formed Ashantis a sense of belonging by creating festivals like Ojiwira and Akweside for them. He additionally established a new capital for the Ashantis at Kumasi, which was neutral ground, being in the middle of the Ashanti Kingdom. This made it easier for all the Ashanti states and the newly incorporated ones to have easy access from wherever they were, since Kumasi was centrally located in the kingdom. It was also a strategic position during wartime, which made it difficult for enemies to reach the king at the palace, no matter from where an attack came. Anokye's powers became the foundation of Ashanti belief, and he became the codifier of laws, created rituals, and helped establish the structures that united the new empire. But even legends must face the call of the ancestors. One day, as the Ashanti Empire grew stronger and Osei Tutu reigned supreme, Okomfo Anokye gathered his people and told them his time was near. But he was going into the spirit world to seek and ask for the key to death so he could live forever and also make every person in the Ashanti Kingdom live forever and not face death. He warned them, no one must be sad or cry and beat drums if he is not back after a while, for if they do, he would not succeed and would not return any more. He entered his room to perform his rituals, chanted, and entered into a trance. The people waited and waited. After several days, when they could no longer resist, his nephew made a mistake and opened the door. He was gone. He had vanished from the room. No body, no trace, only his sandals and the faint scent of incense in the air. The nephew announced his uncle was gone, and the women of the village started to cry. They beat drums in the village to announce he was gone. To this day, no one knows where Okomfo Anokye went. Okomfo Anokye's legacy wasn't a myth or a folk tale, it is real history in the very foundations of a nation. He was a prophet, a priest, a unifier, a demigod, and a statesman, all in one. The sword he planted in the ground still stands in Kumasi after over 300 years. The stool he summoned still defines Ashanti identity, and his name, whispered in reverence, still echoes through Ghanaian history. A national hospital and a secondary school was even named after this powerful man. Okomfo Anokye didn't just forge an empire, he forged a people's soul. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting and authentic history.